What is going on? I've got a check engine light. When I hook it up to the computer, it says, the code reader, I guess it's a computer. Basically, it's telling me that the coolant isn't reaching temperature fast enough. Most likely what has happened, the thermostat has failed and it's no longer, the coolant isn't staying in the engine section long enough to get hot. All right, so you can kind of see that Phillips head looking deal, which is the same part that we have here. Looks like almost like a Phillips screwdriver would go on there. So we're gonna have to get to that. All right, guys. I was gonna try to shoot this with my phone, but got my real camera out. Figured it'd actually be a little bit easier. Started with this little reservoir for the steering fluid. It's held down here with the little nut. I'll get this off. The resonator got little holes here too. Come off, and in fact it does. We got this is your air intake here. See, this is pretty dirty, so this might be a good time to replace it, but I'm gonna go ahead and blow this out and put it back in there actually. So I'm gonna try to move this and just kind of move it up here without undoing this hose. Oh, actually looks like a wire harness. It's not necessarily a hose. Now, got that up and out of the way. So let's see if I can. All right, guys. Gonna want to make sure you have yourself some drain pans, or maybe one really big one, but usually the fluid starts dripping off in multiple places. Just making sure you have a few of them, because when you take these bolts off, of course, coolant is going to want to flow out. So that means you're going to want to have coolant to replace this with. Now, I've seen people do this kind of work and just pour the old coolant back in there, but to me, it seems like once it runs all over your engine like that and all over stuff in the engine bay, it's probably pretty dirty. All right, I've got a 10 millimeter that seemed to fit it quite well, so I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put a small extension on here. In case you guys are wondering, I am using the Pittsburgh Pro from Harbor Freight. I know this stuff does not get a lot of love, but I'm trying to tell you, it gets the job done for just a DIYer like myself. I can hear my kids coming home. The bus must have just dropped them off. They will be opening up this garage any second now. Maybe I should scare them.
Keep the garage open or close?
Yeah, go ahead, keep it open. You got one screw here, and it's got a little star pattern in here. So if you want to use the torque wrenches, you could use on that. Torques over me. All right, now let's just see if we can get this off of here. Comes off quite easy. And got a lot of coolant leaving the engine, leaving the well, the cooling area of the engine. Anyway. I think it's just going to remove just this part and leave this on here because this is being a bit of a pain. So let's go ahead and get this swapped out. So let's make sure we look at the new assembly to see how this all works. I had to put my camera in manual focus, so it's not going to be able to refocus, so I got to move this stuff down here for you to see it. But anyway, just take note of the orientation and everything like that. So if you look closely, if you rotate it, looks like counterclockwise, that will bring it out of here. Alright, so let's keep everything. See, that's the way it's supposed to be. Alright guys, got it in there, and time for this thing to go back together. Okay, got all the little rubber, little push down areas. So you got this one nut that goes here, holds your power steering reservoir in place. This takes a 1/2 inch. I don't know if you can make that out. Anyway, I went through, I cleared the code, now I start the car back up. I'm actually going to take it on a little drive and see if the code comes back. And actually, alright, so one of the things, you know, I was going through the menus, so I do see that the coolant temp is 165 and we're just here at idle, and that's hotter than it was getting. Alright guys, so as you might be able to see, we're maintaining 180s and stuff. And so what was happening, we were actually losing temperature once we get on the highway. Once all the air started blowing past the radiator, we was losing temp and could barely keep the car warm. Now, as you can see, today it's 56, it's not that cold. But even on a day like today, we would be able to stay warm, but we would lose temp, because I've watched this before.